DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, I'm out walking a little bit, just had to do a bit of shopping. I realized earlier, well, I kind of knew it, but even forgot about it, that today is Halloween. But as you can probably see, well, no, you couldn't, but even if I tried to show you, there is really nothing over here that would show that it's Halloween. I've been looking around. I've just come from a store. There was nothing, a grocery store. There was nothing there to show that it was Halloween. So, it's, as I've said before, it really is no big thing here. Anyway, that's just the way it is. So for those of you in North America, or eventually in the UK or Ireland, well, I hope you enjoy the day and have some fun. Yeah. Anyway, so I was listening to a podcast which I like a lot. It's on Irish history, and there was two people. One's a historian, a guy's called Finn Dwyer, and the other one, I don't remember his name actually. He's an Irish expat, I think, who's living in Finland or something like that. But they were together in Waterford. But anyway, for most people it probably won't mean anything, but they were together in Ireland somewhere. And they were chatting, and it was interesting because at one point they were going on about, when people emigrate, and as you know, there was a lot of Irish emigration to the US, amongst other places. But how the Irish culture evolved, we could say, so that people became Irish Americans, and then when they come back to visit Ireland, they would say, well, we're Irish Americans, and how the Irish who were, had stayed or were there reacted, because they would kind of say, well, you might be Irish American, but you're not really Irish anymore, And that got me to thinking a lot, because that's exactly the way that I am. I've emigrated to Switzerland, and it's always a complex thing when you emigrate. We've been here for 40 years, basically. And yeah, it's been next year is 40 years that we've left Canada, yeah. So 39 years. That's a long time. And, I definitely feel like more Swiss than Canadian. But when I go back to Canada, I usually get, I was going to say, told, that, well, you've been gone for a long time. You're not the real deal anymore. And I actually realize that it's true. A lot of people don't like to be told that, but I definitely realize that it's true. I'm not the real deal when I go over there anymore, and I don't try to be, because I'm not. And to be frank, I don't really want to. Now, I was listening again to the people that were saying, that when, especially if you're thinking of Ireland, because the podcast was about Ireland. I'm crossing the street right now. It's more dangerous actually with the bicycle lane sometimes than it is with the car lane. There's a big attachment, a really, really big attachment for Ireland with anybody who's got Irish roots. I've seen that even for myself. And in a way, I've got a lot of Irish, put it this way, I have a lot of Irish DNA, and I've worked in Ireland for, well, it was something like 11 years, about, going there like 7-8 times a year over those 11 years. And still, when I go there, I feel a great attachment. So I can imagine if you're somebody that was Irish, you'd go over and you'd feel the same thing. Anyway, the whole thing is that the podcasters were saying that very often when someone immigrates, and particularly in the case of the Irish, they immigrated for, well, for example, the Great Famine or stuff like that. And once in Ireland, once in the USA, because they were talking particularly about the USA, they had the chance to, so to say, become somebody. And coming back was not even an option that they were thinking about. And that was part of the discussion. Like they were saying, when somebody leaves and gets the chance or the opportunity to go back to their original country, how many do, how many don't? I've noticed over here, and Switzerland is a country where there's a lot of immigration. Well, most actually do go back, but when they retire. I've often been asked that myself, with an element of surprise usually. What, you're not going back now that you're retired? But you don't, from what I've heard, at least when I was in Ireland regularly, is that you don't hear that all that much. You will get people basically nostalgics, almost like myself. They'll go back. I'm talking about Ireland, I should be talking about Canada, I suppose. You might get a certain amount of nostalgia when you go back, or you're going back to visit the family, things like that. But that's not what's motivating you to. That's not something that's strong enough to motivate you to stay over there, because you built your home where you are. You might have your friends, you might have your family, and so on. And the factors are that there's just too much to lose if you would go back. And then you realize all of a sudden that you like where you are. You wouldn't really care or really want to go back. So there's, this type of topic comes up as well. Yeah, anyway, so I guess that's kind of what I'll be chatting about for today. Tell me what you think about it. Some of you have probably not moved countries, but sometimes you've moved far away in your own country. Like I can think of the majority of my relatives from my hometown have either moved on to, for example, Western Canada, where they have established themselves and have showing no desire whatsoever to coming back, or another fair share of my family have emigrated to the southern states because they were binationals or married into, there's always been a big mixture of the family at the time with America, and so a large part of my family is also down in the south of the states. So they are not showing any real desire to come back, even though part of their family is still in Canada. Okay, anyway, I guess I'll just stop there. Maybe you can tell me what you think. Because a lot of you have probably moved to different states or different provinces or different parts even of your own country, and sometimes it's as uprooting as moving to another country. Yeah, okay, that'll be it. DC signing off. Take care, everybody, and hope that you have a nice Thursday. Bye-bye.